Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. We're in the process of making 40 splits and also maintaining our colonies at the same time. I love multitasking. I also prefer not to get into colonies if I don't have to. The fewer the interruptions, the better. Now, some people will tell you that if you get into them constantly, it's going to be stressful on them. And some people even say it'll cause them to get weak and die. That's ridiculous, but it is stressful whenever you get in there. I mean, you're rearranging things. You know, today what we're doing is pretty stressful because we're taking brood from the colony. We're swiping nurse bees. We're going to show you all that here in a second. I just want to kind of sum up a few things, try to cover multiple things in the videos. So I've got 3 over there. I've already got half a dozen in another location. And then I've got one already done. You can see the double screen board on this hive right here. So instead of just putting them into one of these jester boxes, I just left it up there because I introduced a new queen into that hive. The older queen wasn't looking that great. When I came back 7 days later, and this happens, it's a small percentage, but it does happen, especially if you wait after you make the split. You can have the bees raise queen cells even if they accept the queen. You're like, what? So, some of you already know this because I've talked about this before. If you make a split and you wait 2 days, 3 days, even 24 hours sometimes, the bees will already start drawing queen cells, even if they're just barely starting them. And they might accept your queen, let her start laying, and they'll love her to death. The problem is once that virgin emerges from that cell, she's only got one thing on her mind, and that's eliminating every queen in there. Laying queens are not like that. They're in a totally different state of mind. They're focused on getting all that ridiculous amount of eggs out of their body. And so it's just understanding that. I like to get into the hives about 7 days after I introduce the queens. Make the split that evening, introduce the queen into them. That way they've had a couple hours at least without the pheromones of the original queen. And in that way, they quickly get that new queen pheromone, which suppresses them wanting to raise their own cells. But out of 40, we might get 2 or 3, we might get 0. But we're going to come back 7 days later and we're going to make sure that the queens are laying, and we're also going to double check all the combs, which is not going to be that many, and make sure that they haven't started any cells. So that's one thing to watch out for. I hate it when that happens. That's just another example of learning things the hard way. Alright, so we've got a double deep here. We've got a bunch of, we got some 4-way pallets over here. We got all kinds of stuff. It's a Mod Podge. This is the best July, well, it's August now, but it's the best July and early August that I can remember. We've gotten more days that were in the mid-80s instead of mid-90s, Fahrenheit, of course. And that has made it much easier on us and the bees. And they're bringing a little bit more pollen in than usual, which has been excellent. It's not a ton, but we will take everything we can get. Alright, so let's make a split. We need to find the queen. This first frame of brood looks excellent. She's a 2020 queen, one of ours of course, and that's what we want to see, but we definitely don't want to take her out of here. This box up here is laden with honey and syrup. So we've been feeding them as well. Keep that nutrition coming in. Laurel's got all these patties over here made. She's got a bunch more over there, but that's just what I've got right now. So let's see if we can find that queen, and then we're going to be able to take whatever we want without accidentally taking the champ. You know, we still have a lot of season left. For those of you who are in pretty northern areas, then you're going to have to think about it long and hard. You can put, oh, there she is. You can push your season, but the less of a season you have left, the stronger the split that you need to make. And you need to know what you can and cannot get away with. You also need to make sure that when you make these splits that there is not a moment where they are without decent bits of protein and fats and either sugar syrup or honey. You know, they need to be going forward constantly. I have probably to the end of October. Now bees are going to want to naturally decline at that point. They're not going to want to be brooding heavily in October, but they will be brooding a decent amount, and I know that. It's early August, it's in the first week. So I still have August, September, and October to get these splits and the original colony back to a good size. Now this colony, this isn't going to hurt them too much. So we've got the queen right here, so that was fast and awesome. I'm going to really quick set her down. Man, I'm telling you, these stinking sweat bees are worse than the honeybees today. I tell you what, I'm about to put a bee suit on just over the darn sweat bees. Alright, so the queen's out of the way. She's over here. She's a blue dot queen, which if she does run over, she should be pretty easy to spot. I'm going to go ahead and... These bees have been a little bit aggressive, and that's because they've been open. And when we do some of these videos, you know, I called Laurel over from her job, what she was working on, and by the time we all got set up, they'd been open for, you know, probably 10 minutes. And they just don't like it when it's like that. And this is a really strong colony. There's not a whole lot going on. So, look at that though. Look at that pollen. Now, a lot of the, well, pretty much all the dark pollens is from spring. Just leftovers from spring, but all the yellows and some of the lighter or more tans, that's from the last couple weeks. And we've had a really good bit. We always get a trickle of it. And I don't think it's the best pollens, but man, it is much better than nothing at all. We will take it. Woo! Pinched one. So we're going to shake that in there. Forager bees fly back home. That's a rough comb right there. Now, one thing we really want is a couple frames of nurse bees shook in. So that was one. This is capped brood right here. Both sides. That's going to be a lot of bee power before too long. So we're going to stick that in. And then let's get some more. I can still see that queen over on this frame, so we're good. To find the most nurse bees, you want frames that have a lot of bee bread on it because they're consuming that to feed the bees, or you want frames with a lot of larvae on it because they have to be fed. This one has a bunch of larvae that are being capped. I got some larvae on this side. So we shook that one in. And this is going to set the colony back a little bit, but really not that much. Really, it's good. We can get false swarming some years, especially if the colonies are really strong, which is the way we like them. A lot of eggs, young larvae on that side. Same song, second verse. All right, so that was 3 shakes and a frame of capped brood and the adhering bees. That's a good size, but I want more than just 1 frame, obviously. Sometimes I'll put 2 frames in there. I feel like this would be a good frame to give it. It's a junk frame that needs to be melted down. This is a very old one, back when we were trying out foundationless. Can you tell why we went away from that? However, it does work to a degree. This is a good edge frame, and if I keep wiggling it like that, it's going to break off. So this colony is going to have plenty of protein. They're going to have no forager bees, so we're going to have to make sure that they shake them back down in there and shut that up. All right, so I've taken 2 frames, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these are extracted frames right here. And so you can see where they've been cut. And we are going to, what I'm going to do is actually scoot all this in, because I want to keep that brood together. These are the frames that they're used to, so we're going to keep all that together, and then we're going to stick these to the edge. Alright, so now they're not really going to have to do any crazy work to replace those. They'll clean that honey off from extraction. And I am going to get another frame for this one really quick, because there's one thing that we did not give that hive. And this significantly makes a big difference, what I've noticed. Alright, so let's, this is about a pound patty that Laurel made. She's pretty good at getting it real close to 1 pound. Out of the way, bees. Alright, this is one thing I like to do. It's open on this side so they can get access to that. Get these edges right here. It allows the bees to get to it faster. Beetles, if you slice all of it, I feel like the beetles can get to it more. Between this and the little bit of pollen they've got coming in, I really feel like it's going to give them, they've been eating as much. A colony this size will eat 1.5 pounds, no problem. But we're doing 1 pound because there's so much pollen coming in. And now we're going to smoke these bees back up. There's tons of bees up in here. Mostly older bees though. And, you know, I like the excluders because it's faster to find the queen. You know where all the brood is. You know where most of the bee bread is. Most of the forager bees are out or out of the way. And everything is just simpler and easier. Now you've got to take that off though before winter starts, because they'll eventually move up into this box for all the honey, and the queen can't pass through that. Then you'll have some alive bees coming out of winter with no queen, which is disastrous. It's really bad. A lot of bees up in here. A lot of weight too. I don't know how full this is, but it is very. Oh. Scoot this over, and we're going to grab, oops. Now just come on with me, why don't you? I'm going to grab this frame right here. Just full of honey pretty much, and sugar syrup. A little bit of bee bread in there. Knock those bees back down. Any that fly out we don't really want anyways. And I'm going to put this honey towards the edge here. We're going to stick the queen cage in here later. And then we're going to add a couple more drawn combs from extraction after the queens have took. And then we'll eventually be transferring these over. You know, these splits are going off the yard, so we have extra Jester nuke boxes from selling nukes earlier in the year. So they're lightweight, easy to close up, well ventilated. These will all be going to a new bee yard, and so that's why I'm sticking them in that. We're just going to take this comb right here, plop it on down, and tonight, after we've moved this and we've moved those over there, we are going to be putting the queen cages in there. And they've got bee bread, they've got a good frame of food, they've got a solid frame of brood, and all of those nurse bees. I think it's the best way to make some small splits right there. So this video's been a little bit longer than I originally intended it, but it's August. We can make splits in Tennessee this late, no problem, if the colonies are strong and healthy. I'm not splitting my little 5-frame nukes down and breaking them up into little bitty colonies. There's no reason to do that, in my opinion. This colony, we're going to come back a couple weeks later, and it won't look like it's dropped in size at all. There's so much brood in there, and the fall flow is going to start. Thanks for watching our videos, and if you have any questions on what we did here, leave them below.